Okay, so I'm going to invite you to start however feels good for you. So if you want to lay down, I'm actually going to welcome that for you. If you want to sit up in a meditative state, please do that as well, whatever is going to feel most comfortable for you. And then wherever we are, let's close those eyes down to start. It's taking some time now to fully arrive here in the space. Fully arrive here in your practice, in this present moment. Releasing the day, the week, the month that you've had so far. Not thinking about what's yet to come, but choosing now to be here, to be present, to be still. Dropping firstly into your physical body as the most tangible aspect of ourselves, and notice how you're feeling on a physical level with no judgment, just observation. A quick little body scan from head to toe. Notice how you're feeling. If you do come across any points of tension or pain, can you start to invite your breath into these spaces? And welcome in lightness, spaciousness, openness, fresh, clean prana energy. Allow whatever parts of your body that are in contact with the earth to start to melt down towards the earth. Shift your awareness from your physical body to your emotions. Notice how you're feeling emotionally. And again, there's no judgment, just observation. Now let's move our awareness to the natural rhythm of the breath. Feel your breath moving in and out of your nostrils. Feel the rise and fall of your chest and your belly with the breath. Without changing your breath just yet, observe the way in which your breath is traveling through your body. Maybe your breath already feels quite full and expansive. Perhaps you can feel that your breath is a little bit shallow, a little bit stuck somewhere in the body. Again, just observing. Often the breath can give us a really good indication if we are in our sympathetic nervous system, which is where we're a bit flighty. You'll find that the breath will be stuck up in the chest, breathing shallow. So if that's the case for you, see if you can just start to deepen your breath a little bit more. And when we start to breathe deeply and fully, we can start to slip into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest, our healing state. Stay here with your breath for a moment. Start to travel into a brief little visualization now. And I want you to imagine as we gather together on the spring equinox, which is all about balance, perfect balance between yin and yang, light and shade. As we step into Libra season as well, if you're an astrology buff, ask yourself how you can cultivate more balance in your life. Maybe you feel quite balanced how you're living presently, but if you feel that there's some ways, or maybe even just one way that you could cultivate a bit more balance in your life, what would that look like? And how would that feel? Let's take a moment to tune into that now. Just a few more moments here. Just allowing that visualization, any little seed drops that came through for you to float away out into the ether now, knowing that it's already yours. As we step into the season of spring and beyond, this can really cultivate a sense of blooming, of blossoming. So now I want you to go on a visualization where you allow yourself to come into full bloom. You allow all of your greatest dreams and desires to start to unfurl in their own divine timing. What would that look like for you? And how would that feel for you? I want you to go on a really visual, tangible, palpable visualization with that now, and start to become familiar with the vibrational energy of the future version of you. No dream is too big or too small. Just a few more moments here. As you start to allow, once again, this visualization to fade, allow it to float off into the ether, knowing that you've already planted those seeds of intention. We're now going to come back to the breath for a few moments. So just making sure that you're comfortable wherever you are. If you're seated or laying down, if you need to move positions for the next couple of minutes of breathing, please take the time to do that now. Again, just start to observe and sync with the natural rhythm of your breath. And then we'll start to breathe a little bit deeper. We're going to come into Maharaja Pranayama, which is the royal yoga breath. If at any stage any of these breathwork practices become too much or they're causing strain in your system, please just let it go and come back to your natural breath. So let's start now breathing into the chest. So we're drawing a big breath in through the nose, into the chest, out into the ribs, and then down into the belly. So full breath into the torso. And then exhaling from the belly, and then the ribs, and then the chest. If it helps you to bring your hands over your belly or over your chest to have that tangible connection, you're welcome to do that. So this is the flow that we're going to breathe in. Let's do that again. Breathing in through the nose, into the chest, ribs and belly. Exhale, belly, ribs and chest. Now keep breathing in this way. Oftentimes our breath can be overlooked. It's something that happens autonomously in our body, but it's also something that we can control. It's quite remarkable. And in my personal experience, if I'm having any moments of feeling unsettled, coming back to the breath is always really helpful and probably the quickest way just to drop back into your body and release anything that's no longer serving. Our breath is our life force. So when we inhale, we're drawing in prana, which is our life force energy. And then as you exhale, you can use that opportunity to release and let go of anything that's no longer serving, anything that feels heavy to carry. It's also one of the many ways that our body naturally detoxes is through the breath, the exhalation. Take a few more moments here with your full yogic breath. Let's take 3 more rounds breathing in this way. Now you can either continue this breathwork pattern now, otherwise we're going to do a couple, not too many, of what we call cleansing breaths. So all it is breathing in the same way. So big inhale, and then on the exhale, you'll exhale out through the mouth. And this is a really good way just to shift and cleanse your energy. So if you're coming with me, deep inhale through the nose, parting the lips and exhaling audibly through the mouth. Beautiful. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to do that 3 more times. Deep inhale. Exhale. Twice more with your breath. One more round. Returning now to the natural breath, and just allow your breath to settle once more into its natural rhythm. And just observe any shifts in your body, your breath, your nervous system after just a few short rounds of conscious breathing. It's so powerful. If you have come to lay down onto your mat, very, very slowly start to bring some movement back into the body. Roll on out to the side, and I'm going to come up into the space whenever you're ready. Okay. I'm going to transition now into the yin postures. I'm going to start with the balasana, child's pose. Let's come over onto hands and knees. You can either use any props that you have there, or you can use no props as well for this pose. So dropping the knees wide, toes are touching, hips to heels. Now, if you're not using any props at all, you could fold forward onto your mat. Third eye down to the mat. You might pop one hand on top of the other and prop your third eye there. If you've got props or blankets or anything else, you might grab a hold of those and then bring that onto your mat, soften down. Maybe turn the head to one side or the other. Sometimes it's comfortable to have the head centered. It's really, really up to you. You could also pop a cushion or something on the hips and take a seat, whatever feels good for you. Take as much time as you need here to have a wriggle around and get super comfortable, because once we're there, we're going to close the eyes down and stay still in pose. It's one of the tapas disciplines of this style of yoga, yin yoga, is to remain still in the physical body as much as you can. I really, really like beginning the practice with child's pose. It's a pose that we often find ourselves in, no matter what style of yoga that we're practicing, due to its grounding and centering and restorative qualities. So take full advantage of that here. Really allow yourself to be held. Really allow yourself to be restored. Again, all of the parts of your body here in contact with the earth, can you allow them to ground? Ground your body and ground your energy down towards the earth. Keep the breath flowing. So throughout the entire yin practice, keep that Maharaja pranayama flowing, that deep, full yogic breath. Breathing all the way down into the belly. Breathe down into those hips. You'll start to feel those hips gently awakening now. Maybe the lower back's getting a nice little release as well. Just do a quick little scan through your body. Is there anywhere that you can sense that you're holding tension? If there is, maybe you can let it go now. If you've got your head turned to one side, just with as little disturbance as possible, lift your head, turn it over to the other side so we're nice and balanced. And then settle in once more to your pose. Notice what your mind is doing here. If you do find your mind starting to wander, can you draw it back? Anchor your awareness back to the breath, back to your third eye, whatever feels good for you. Let's take another 5, maybe 6 of those big, beautiful breaths here before we transition out of the pose. See if you can soften just that little bit more for the final few moments. One more breath here. As we inhale, slowly, slowly start to lift your head, walk the fingertips back, and then come into any comfortable seated position for a moment. We're just taking a moment to pause and integrate before we move to the next pose. Take this opportunity just observing any shifts that have occurred after that first yin pose. One more breath here. Inhale, blinking open the eyes, coming back. All right, from here, we're moving into Rajkapratasana, which is pigeon. I'm going to show you some options, especially if you've got any issues with your knees. You might need to take one of the lighter options. So option 1 is here. So level 1 is here. So you're going to have some bends in your knees. You want to square the torso off to the front. Maybe you're up high here. Maybe you come down. Maybe you come all the way down. Maybe you can grab a hold of your props. Option 2 is the full pigeon. So you want to be really careful with your back knee in particular when you're coming into the posture. So you're extending that back leg behind you. Again, squared off to the front. Maybe you're up high here. If you find that right hip is kind of hanging out in space, you can pop a block or a cushion there. If you can, you could fold forward either onto your prop. Maybe you can come all the way down. So that's option 2. Option 3 is to take the supine variation. This is good if you've got any issues with your knees. So you'll lay down on your back. You want to cross the right ankle over the left knee. You could stay there. You could press that thigh away. Or you could draw your legs towards your chest if that's available for you. We're really getting into that right hip now. If you need any support, let me know. Okay, once again, just take some time to have a wriggle around, get comfortable. Absolutely. I personally really love this pose, even though it's quite strong. We're not going to hold for as long. Close your eyes and see if you can find some comfort here in this potentially uncomfortable position for your body. There's no need to push it. The prana, the energy is going to flow anyway, regardless. So you might as well try and find a level of comfort. So as I mentioned, one of the focuses for this practice was to start to flush out the liver and the gallbladder meridian. So at the moment, we're focusing on this, in this pose, on the gallbladder meridian, which runs through the outsides of the legs and also comes up through the front body. So you can visualize this cleansing energy running through the outer seam of the right leg, the right hip. We can store a lot of emotions, baggage, as they say, in the hip space. That's why a lot of us have so much tension, pain in the body. And when we do postures like this is where we can really give ourselves permission to start to let that go. Start to allow this denser energy to release and let go so that we can make way for this beautiful, fresh, clean energy to flow in. Stay present here. Keep the breath flowing. We'll be here for a few more moments. Let's take 3 more breaths. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhaling either through the nose or mouth. If you're laying down on your mat, you can just gently release your leg that's crossed over now. If you're in your pigeon pose, let's use the inhale to lift the head, walk the fingertips back. Swing out onto that front hip. Wherever you are, I'm going to take an integration moment here once more. You might feel that you need to stretch those legs. Whatever you need to do. You might feel some intense energy, you might feel some warmth. Just observe what's coming up for you here and let it integrate. No rush at all. We'll start to transition over to the other side. So remember, we've got those 3 different variations. So option 1 is here with the 2 bent knees. Option 2 is your full pigeon, extending the back leg behind, just being really careful in the way that you set up. And then option 3, laying on your back, crossing the opposite ankle over the knee and pulling through if that's available for you. Take your time to set up now.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, ladies, take your time to set up as you need to. And bear in mind that this side might feel different than the first, and it likely will. So just change it up if you need to. Grab more props if you need to. Take them away if you need to. Once you're there, eyes closed, and we'll resolve to remain still as much as we can. How does it feel for you over on this side? Does this side feel maybe more open, less open than the other? Maybe it feels quite similar. Start to connect back to that breath, and again visualize this left hip being flushed with fresh, clean prana. Letting go, creating space for the new, creating space for the seeds of intention that we planted at the beginning of the practice. Can you soften just a little bit more? Can you allow these hips to let go, release? You're laying down on your back, just gently release that now. If you're in pigeon, start to gently release, swing out onto that front hip wherever you are. Take a moment to stretch your legs out if you need to, and then come into a seated position or a reclining position if that's where you are. Take a moment to pause, to breathe, to integrate. Feel that rush of energy through the hip. Inhale, blinking open the eyes, coming back. All right, so now we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana, which is our reclining butterfly. Now, if you do have props there, you might want to include it. Otherwise, you can lay flat on your mat. So if you do have a prop, you could lay over it for heart opening as well, but otherwise we'll just focus on the hips. So if you've got a bolster there, you could lay over the bolster either this way, which is probably a bit stronger, or flip it around the other way. Come to lay down. If you've got no props today, you just want to lay down flat on your back. We're going to pull the soles of the feet together, knees drop out wide. Now, the closer that your feet are to your hips or to your body, the stronger the opening for the hips is going to feel. So if you find that it's too much, you can press those feet away from the body, make like a nice wide diamond shape. And that should lighten it off a little bit. If you need to come out earlier than when I lead you, please do that. But otherwise, I'm going to stay here for quite a long, juicy amount of time. So do take the time once more to find a comfortable space. Now the arms could rest beside you. They might be overhead. You might bring your palms to rest over your belly. It's really whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Once you're there, eyes closed, let's fall into stillness. So here you can feel straight away that we're working those hips. So we've already done quite a strong outer hip opening with the pigeon pose that we've just completed. So now you'll likely feel this more in the inner hip. So that groin area, you might feel it slightly as well on the outsides of the hips. So now we're starting to awaken that liver meridian that they run through the inner seams of both of the legs. So you can visualize the liver meridians or energy lines, and also the liver organ being cleansed with energy. If you can feel here that you're holding on to some tension in those hips, particularly the inner hips, see if you can allow this part of your body to soften. See if you can allow those knees to fall a little wider with the exhale. It's such a beautiful pose. We've got energy lines that run on the outside and the insides of both legs. So they're all technically getting quite a beautiful flush of energy here. Allowing those hips to let go and really allowing our hips to know that it's safe to do that. It's safe to let go. We don't need to hold on to this tension. And if we hold on to things, sometimes it's easier said than done to let them go. But if we hold on to them, it's taking up space and we haven't got any room to call in anything new. So allow that to happen now. Allow anything to fall away that needs to be let go of. Welcoming in the new, welcoming in the fresh blooms of spring. Let's take another 5 deep breaths here. Breathing all the way down into the belly, all the way down into those hips. Now, you might like to bring your hands to the outsides of your thighs to assist as you draw the knees towards one another. Maybe take a pause there if you feel that you need to. You might feel here that you need to do a little twist side to side, maybe draw those knees to the chest, give your lower back a nice little massage. Just tune in, see what you need here. Only when you feel ready, you can roll out to the side. Come on up gently into a seat. Right. So from here, we're going to come into Janusarasana. We're not going to hold this one for as long either. It'll be a shorter one. I'll show you some options. So let's extend one leg out long, and then the sole of the other foot pulls into the inner thigh to the degree that serves you. If it's not comfortable for the knee, you can have it a bit wider. Keep a block handy. I'll show you an option with block at the moment. So you want to be up high on the sit bone. So you might just need to have a bit of a wriggle around. Now I'll show you some options. Inhale, sit up tall. You want to rotate the heart open and then exhale. So this is option 1, the full expression of the pose is where we slide that arm down the leg and then the other arm comes across the ear, but it's really strong to hold. So that might not work for you. Option 2, bring the hand to the back of the neck. Option 3, wrap the arm around the low back. What you can do with the block is grab a hold of that block, pop it to the outside of your leg, and then you can pop the elbow there and cradle your head in your hand. It's quite a nice option. So lots of ways to customize. If you need to come out earlier than when I lead you, please do that. But otherwise, let's hold here. We're not going to be here for too long. If you let your head hang heavy, if you're not doing the supported head option, if your head is not supported right now, what you can do is let the head hang a bit heavy and then you get a nice release for the neck as well. So here you can feel this in the lower back. You can feel this through the side body as well, but here we're targeting once more the liver meridian on the inner seam of your leg. This might not be a position that we often will find ourselves in. So just observe how's your body responding to being in this position. No judgment, just observation. Allow yourself to soften any edges that might be feeling like they want to tense up, holding here. Let's take 5 more breaths. Deep inhale through the nose. Long, smooth exhale. Inhale, start to gently unravel, coming back to center. If you need a little pause in the center before changing sides, take that time now. If you are ready to go straight on over, we can swap legs. So extend the opposite leg long, pull the sole of the opposite foot to the inner seam of the leg. Again, just move around the sit bones so you're nice and high, up on the sit bones. We had all of those different variations to take. So it is okay to take a different variation over on this side if you would like to. When we're practicing yin, that's totally fine. Grab your block if you need to. Wriggle around as much as you need to. Once you're set and settled, close your eyes. And again, when we're doing these poses one side and then over on the other side, it can be a really nice opportunity just to observe any imbalances that we might have in the body. And we all have them due to maybe an injury that we've sustained at some stage. If you're right-handed or left-handed, you'll find that your dominant side will a lot of the times hold some tension. Whatever we do for work, movement, all of these things impact us. So it's just a nice way to gather that feedback about where our body's sitting at the moment. We can start to work on it if we choose. We've been practicing for a while now, so you can really start to draw your awareness deeper and deeper, deeper within. Stay here for a few moments longer. Keep your breath flowing. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through nose or mouth. As we inhale, slowly start to unravel, coming back to center, back into your resting pose of choice. Take a moment to pause, to breathe, to integrate. Feel the space and the energy that you've cultivated there with the last pose. One more breath here. Inhale, blinking open the eyes, coming back into the space. We're going to come and lay down on the mat now. So just keep your props close by as we come to lay down onto our mat. And let's just take a moment to allow the back of the body to settle down into the floor. Once more, you might feel that you want to draw the knees to the chest or do a little twist. We are going to do some twisting in just a moment. Just allow the back of your body to melt down towards the earth to soften any residual tension here. All right, so from here, we're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So you can use your block that you've got there. I'm going to use my bolster. You could use a cushion, whatever you've got handy. So if you've got a block, you'll see that there's 3 different levels of the block that you can utilize, 3 different heights. And if you're using any other prop, you're just going to grab a hold of it. And what we're going to do with whatever prop we're using is bring it so it's resting at the sacrum at the base of the spine. And you'll just kind of wriggle it around until you find where you need to be with that prop. It should feel quite comfortable if you've got it in the correct position. Now, you could stay here. Again, it's up to you what you want to do with your arms. Your arms could be alongside the body, overhead. You might bring the hands to rest over your body, see what feels good for you. Now you could stay here and this might feel really quite comfortable for you. If you want to, you could explore canoe. So that's where we'll extend the legs long. You could even stretch the arms long as well. This doesn't always work for some people, so you could try it out, see how it feels. And if it's not so great, just come back into your bridge pose. Beautiful pose here. Close the eyes down once you've settled into your space. Here in your bridge pose, whatever prop that you're using there is going to be giving your lower back a nice little massage. This is a really nice pose for the kidneys and the adrenals that sit just, adrenal glands that sit just above the kidneys as well. You can feel here with the hips slightly elevated that the digestive organs there, reproductive organs in the lower abdominal region are getting a nice little energy surge here. And just as we are in this slight little decline position, we're helping with the flow of energy, blood towards the heart. Here, you want to feel like the back of your body is grounded as the front of the body is light and open and receptive. Stay present here, stay connected to your breath for the next few moments. Now, if you do have your legs extended out in front, just start to draw them back towards the center. So you're back in that traditional bridge pose. Now, option one is to stay there. Option two is to come up into a supported bridge pose, supported shoulder stand pose. If you're on day 1 or 2 of your cycle, or you just prefer not to come up into the pose, please stay where you are. But otherwise, if you're feeling okay, you can float the legs up towards the sky. And you'll find a position that feels comfortable for you. It should feel quite effortless once you get there, just to have the legs suspended. Arms wherever feels comfortable for you. If you're doing this one at home, you can also do legs up the wall. So you could shift your body towards the wall space and pop the legs up the wall. I really love this pose. It's a really nice way to calm and cool not only your physical body, but also your nervous system as well. After we've been here for a few moments, you might start to feel some energy moving through the legs. It might feel like a vibration. So just allow that to happen. You might start to feel that lymphatic fluid draining down the legs. It's really nice if we can to do what we can to support our lymphatic system as well. This is one way we can do that. If you need to come out early, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we'll stay here for a few more moments. It's prepared to come out now, so you can gently place your feet down towards the mat. Take a pause there if you need it. And then we're going to slide that prop that we're using out to the side. Very slowly lower the hips back down, maybe knock the knees together and just have a moment's rest there, just allowing your lower back to settle down to the floor. And again, just take a moment to observe any shifts that have occurred after those last 2 poses. Really start to feel that prana, life force energy in your system at this point. Once your back feels okay, we're just going to hug the knees into the chest, take a little sway from side to side, another nice little back massage. Should feel quite nice. And from here, we're going to keep the right knee pulled in towards the chest. Now the left foot can either just come back down to the floor. If it's available for you, you might extend the left leg all the way long. in front of you on the mat. You want to keep the shoulder blades softened against your mat, hugging that right knee in as close to the chest as feels comfortable. This should feel, again, quite nice for the lower back. This pose is really beneficial for cleansing. So this is a really good pose for us to cleanse our digestive organs, but also for us to cleanse our emotions and our energy as well. So on all levels here, this is your opportunity to release and let go, cleanse. Let it all go with the breath. Just a few more moments here. Keep the breath flowing, stay present. Three more breaths, deep inhale through the nose, exhaling through nose or mouth. Once you've taken your last breath, we're actually going to come straight into our next pose from here. So you're drawing your right knee across your body over to the left. We're coming into a reclining twist. So bring that right knee across over to the left. You want to splay your right arm out to the side. Now you're welcome to stack your legs, however feels comfortable. You can grab some props if you need to pop them under your knees. You want to try and keep your shoulders anchored to the mat if you can. Now, your head could either be centered or you can allow your head to fall towards the right if you want the full spinal twist. So see how you go, see how it feels. So here again, this is a beautiful cleansing and detoxing pose. So you can feel quite tangibly here as we rotate the body. We're cleansing, twisting out all of those digestive organs there. When we twist our body like this as well, we're encouraging the energy to flow up through the Sushumna Nadi, which is our largest energy channel that runs through the center of the spinal column. So we're allowing that energy to flow upwards towards the crown of the head. Even though it doesn't always look like we're doing too much from the outside, when we practice in this way, there's so much deep internal work. There's so much energy moving as we hold these postures and we breathe and we stay present. Just allow your body to maybe even just subtly rotate a little bit more, even if you're not physically moving. It's more about having the intention of deepening the pose. A few more breaths here. Again, use that exhale to cleanse, release, and let go. Let's take 3 more breaths here before we transition out of the pose. As we inhale, start to slowly unravel yourself, roll back to center. We're going to take a pause there and realign the spine. And take a moment to rest. We did 2 poses there, so you want to take a moment to rest to integrate that, whatever position for your body feels good for you. Allow that integration to just really embed itself in your body and your cells. Another moment or 2 here before we change sides. Only when you feel ready, we'll set up for the second side now. So you can start to hug your left knee in toward the chest. The right leg can be bent, or you can stretch it out long if that's available for you, if it feels comfortable for you. Just ensuring that your shoulders are soft against the mat and allow the back of the body to settle here. And here again, let's visualize this cleansing, this shedding, this letting go. Cleansing the digestive system, cleansing the energy, our thoughts, our emotions. As we come more towards the end of the practice, you might feel called to bring any of those visualizations that you had at the beginning of the practice back into your awareness. Maybe you have some other thoughts or feelings or intentions that have come to light for you throughout the practice. Maybe you'd like to keep the mind clear and still, whatever feels best for you. Another breath or two here before we come on into our twist. From here, let's draw that left knee across our body over to the right. Splay your left arm out beside you. Keeping both shoulders anchored to the mat. Your head could be centered. You could allow the gaze to fall towards the left before closing the eyes down. Feel this beautiful release here through the low back. Again, allowing the energy to flow up through the spine. Allowing your digestive organs to get that ringing out sensation. They're getting quite a beautiful release here with these postures at the moment. I'm just going to leave you here for the next few moments just to be here in your own energy. Stay present once more. Keep the breath flowing. Take another 3 or 4 of those big, beautiful, deep breaths here together. As we inhale, slowly start to unravel yourself, roll back to center, realign the spine. And again, we're going to take some time to pause here just for a moment or two. Allow those last 2 postures to integrate. If you feel that you need it, you might want to draw the knees into the chest. Give the lower back a nice little massage, whatever you need to do here. We are going to start to transition now into the final part of the practice where I'm going to do an extended Shavasana with some Reiki infused into it. So you're going to be laying down for the next 10 minutes. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable. If you've got props, blankets, eye pillows, whatever you've got there, you might want to utilize them now. So it's quite nice to pop something under your knees. You might pop a pillow behind the back of your head. If you get cold easily, you might pop a blanket over you, some socks, an eye pillow or an improvised eye pillow, whatever you need to do, take that time. Taking the next moment or two to settle into your space. Eyes are closed if they aren't already. Just do a quick little body scan here from head to toe and make sure that you're not holding on to any residual tension in your body. If you find that you are, can you allow this tension to start to dissolve? Can you allow the weight of your body to melt down towards the earth? Allow the earth to hold you here. Allow your breath to become soft and gentle and free flowing. There's no need to control the breath now. You can just allow it to land in its natural rhythm. This is our time now to rest. This is our time to restore, to integrate all that we've moved throughout the class. So there's nothing else that you need to do here other than to lay here in presence, in deep rest, in healing, and in a sense of receivership. Just allow yourself to fall deeply now into your Shavasana. Very, very slowly now we're starting to draw our awareness back. And we'll start first by deepening the breath. Breathing into the entire length of your body. Starting to bring some gentle movement back into the body, wriggling out through fingers and toes. Inviting a nice deep breath into your body, stretching out through arms and legs. Bending your knees, gently roll on out to the right hand side. Pausing there for a few moments. And then only once you feel ready, you can roll on up into a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed if you can. And from here, we'll draw the hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position at the heart, bowing the head down. And as we close our practice together, we give thanks for the blessings in our life. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.